a conversation with one of my friends. We're from the same hometown, and it's always been, hey girl, we went to the same college, we see each other. And we have these really deep conversations, and it may not happen for months at a time, but we have these really insightful conversations with each other. And one of the things that she said really resonated with me. She told me about myself and who I've always been. She was like, you have this aura, you always had this aura about you, funny as hell. You've always been super creative, just super, she just pouring into me. I had told her, I was like, it's so interesting because I stopped believing in those things about myself. We talked about the limiting beliefs we begin to believe about ourselves at a certain age, and I will argue it's probably from like age 6 to 10, where we start to see the limitations of our situations or the perceived limitations of our situations. We start to, and whether that could be what your family can do, your financial situation. For me specifically, if I'm watching Disney and Nickelodeon, like I'm asking my mom, like, why can we go to Disney World? And she was like, girl, like, we got bills to pay. Like, girl, what the fuck is you talking about? Do you got Disney money? Is bill money. And that was my first understanding of bill money. This is a small example, but it plays on your psyche because when you get older, these are the only perceptions you believe because you've come from a limiting environment on whether it came from money, whether it came from resources. We are both from a small town. And we were saying how we didn't grow up seeing a lot of success around us, so we didn't know it could be possible for ourselves. And in that conversation, we were like, we're just now beginning to claim these things of ourselves. Accept the compliments and accept that people feel these ways about us. And I think a part of healing the inner child that a lot of people don't talk about, not only is it healing the traumas that you have experienced in, but it's also about after that, digging back into the crates of who you are, digging back into your own garden, your own sea, digging for your own jewels, digging for your own fruits of your labor, digging for you. Everything that I am right now is everything that I was as a child before I understood what could and couldn't be from my own perception. Everything that I'm doing, I've done as a kid to some degree, and it was before anybody had anything to say. It was always, my mom would attest to this. My mom would say everything that I'm doing right now is exactly who I was as a child. And I think the final stage, or maybe the stage in connecting to your childhood, inner child, is having that gall you had before someone told you that it was weird, or someone told you that, oh, you can't be many things. You have to put 10,000 hours in one thing to be a master at it, which I feel is true to some degree. But at the same time, what if I don't want to be a master of these things? What if I just want to express? I don't have to be a master in music making to express myself. I don't have to be a master at photography to see a picture of nature and be wowed by my own photo. You get what I'm saying? Like, somewhere along those lines, I listened to what was said, but now we talked about how freeing it is when you shed so many layers of who you think you're supposed to be and you just be. And it's so interesting in this process of me expressing myself. So many people have been saying compliments to me that I have never received. For a long time, a lot of my compliments on social media would be, oh, I love this outfit. Oh, your hair. Oh, your makeup. Oh, I want to go here. Things, right? And I think somewhere along the lines, posting those things feels like a form of expression because it's showing my style, my taste, but it wasn't fully expressing me. So the compliments have been people actually saying, no, you I feel intention with what you're doing. It feels intentional. It feels like I'm wowed by you. I'm like, oh my gosh, she can do this. She birthed this idea. She this, she that. And I'm gathering those gems and I'm realizing there were rocks in my sea that I tossed away thinking that they didn't matter. But I'm going back to those rocks and realize they've now crystallized, materialized, mineralized into a fossil that is to be cherished. The parts of me that I said, if I was talking to somebody and I was like, ooh, I know it's a little weird, but I listen to this. I like electronic music. No, it's not that anymore. I'm no longer apologizing for who I am and my interest, and I'm realizing that is the inner child, Taylor. That is the diva. I asked my cousin and my mom actually recently, I was like, who was I as a kid? Like, who would you, like, from your perception? I could sit here and say who I am, but who were I to you? And my cousin was like, girl, like, basically you were a diva. Like, you gave diva, it gave it girl, it gave confidence, and gave knowing what you want to do. It gave assertive, like, it gave that. And my mom would say the same thing. She was like, you weren't afraid to be in front of crowds. You didn't show any emotion. You just assumed the role. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Somewhere along the lines, I have been told, and I used to listen to people telling me I was too much, listen to people telling me I was too grand, listen to people telling me that all the things I want to do, I can't do. I started to become a little bit too humble in the sense of being like, yeah, ooh, I'm just starting out. I know I'm not that good. No, I'm great right now. My inner child would have said that. My inner child would have never even thought twice about what the hell I was doing. My inner child, when I was making music and when I was writing, when I was taking pictures, when I was doing all of these things as a child, you couldn't tell me it was a shit because I didn't have a perception of anybody else. I was creating for me in my room. Somewhere along the way that stopped. And I didn't have anybody. I had my mom who always be like, oh yeah, you good. Like, I didn't have, my mom wouldn't boast me. She wasn't dogging me. It was just neutral. So I didn't necessarily have a perception of other people's opinions. I didn't know if I was good or not. A part of healing the inner child is going to people around you and asking them their perception of you. For so many of us, we haunt ourselves of cringe moments, of stupid things that we did wrong, things we said wrong, things we could go back and apologize for, whatever the case may be. But we don't think about other people's perception of that. And we don't think of how people perceived us and look at us and be like, no, I was wowed by you. Also, I feel like from my specific experience, I was not told a lot of these things, so I didn't know what I was. People wanted to be around me because I didn't know why people wanted to be around me. I didn't know why I would be invited to do creative things. I didn't understand these things because I didn't have a self-perception. I did a video on value. With value is you validating yourself. That I'm the shit. That's the part of that inner child, knowing that I'm the shit without anybody else's perception. But also, it's about leaning into those things that people are saying. I've been getting a lot of compliments of people who I didn't even know paid attention to me and saying things about me that they've always noticed. And it's like, healing that inner child is having the gall to be who the fuck you want to be. I have completely walked hand in hand with Taylor, my younger self, and have been saying, fuck the world. I'm showing me. I am here and I am loud and proud about it. I have been around people who have frustrated me, and I did a Substack on this actually about how I'm tired of trying to be labeled. Of someone saying, I didn't know that you did this. I thought that you were a Pilates teacher. Oh, I thought you were doing Pilates. I thought you had a cocktail page. Or, I thought you were doing this. I didn't know that you, At the end of the day, I cannot be a product of labels because I am a product of expression. Just because I own a camera does not automatically make me a photographer. I can be a photographer for me, for my form of expression, to create that, to relate that to humanness. That doesn't mean that is a label for me. That is one form of expression for me. YouTube, I'm not in this to be a YouTuber. I'm not in this to be a content creator. It is a form of expression for me. All of these things are exactly what I would have done at 7 years old in my room, listening to music, creating beats in my head, writing music for them, taking pictures, creating music videos in my head. Everything that I've done at 7 is exactly what I'm doing now. And the change and why people can see it is because I have the gall.